one more onto the hundreds of specs, the hundreds of we're
Yeah,
talking about today mass shootings in the
folks, it
country.
is not a leaderboard. We don't want that higher.
Yeah, we're already higher than last year by quite a bit.
Oh boy. It's either there's something wrong with all these people going out and doing that, or just too many people took the purge way too seriously. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it is getting more popular. Um, so we've had 147 mass shootings this year, and
Already?
Just this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
Oh my
Um,
Bro.
god.
so and that's up from so around this time last year they had 130. So that's 17 from this time 2022, and there have already been 209 people that have been killed in mass shootings this year.
Oh shit.
Yep. So
Okay, so what went so
so
I didn't hear about I only heard the first one today at work. From when we were digging up a water line. So like what was the story on that one?
what do you mean?
What was like what went on with with the one that happened today? Because I
Um,
haven't seen anything about it on like Facebook or anything.
I don't know. All I know is that in like they caught the suspect, and he was in Midtown Atlanta, and he just started shooting up Midtown. I guess he injured quite a few people. So I don't
Dang.
know anything about him. I don't know what his motives were, but
Dion Patterson.
yeah,
I don't according to this independent.co.uk, he was angry at messed up meds
messed up
before
mess.
killing one woman and injuring four others.
Damn.
Says, oh, that was his mom. That was his mother. But
Oh yeah, I did hear about this. Wasn't it? He shot like a pregnant woman and it killed the baby in the womb or something.
no, I haven't read anything about that yet.
No, I don't think it was
Uh,
this that we're
And
oh,
he
talking about.
was, yeah, he was in the Coast Guard too, actually.
Oh
oh
shit.
dang, oh dang.
So there's an obvious epidemic
From
of
inside medical. Oh, no. Did they catch him?
yeah, I'm pretty sure they caught him, didn't they? They have his mugshot. I just saw like the update on YouTube.
Dang.
Well, like I was saying, there's kind of an obvious, amount of mass shootings going on and a lot of other gun related deaths like, suicides, accidents, a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of talk about it. There's always the typical talk, oh, they're gonna take our guns, or oh, we should take guns or whatnot. But what do you guys think are the causes of
Uh,
these mass shootings?
uh fuck, I don't know. I
Damn,
think it's literally just
most of them kind of look funny, but
no, but
I'm just saying most of them. So you could maybe correlate like seriously like
bull,
birth defects or
bullying, mental health.
yeah,
I would say
like it takes a toll on you physically as well. It's mentally, I would assume.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say like getting rid of guns is going to I don't know. Like it's and then it's like you also got the parents that just don't give a shit. It's like, oh, my baby's just healthily fine. Then it's like in Columbine where they go up into the room and they found like maps and shit of
Yeah.
like everything was planned out to a T. And it's like, you sure about that, buddy? Rachel saying something otherwise. I'm sorry, that was terrible. No, but yeah, no, I do think a lot of it has to do with like mental health. All like we were looking at that one with the girl that got like the 22 caliber Ruger. That one was just like like her. From what it sounded like, her dad was like an alcoholic and treated her like shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fucked
I
up
kind of
system. Grooming could be a thing.
But I kind of narrowed it down to like 4 different reasons. I got mental health, the same as you guys. Um, it could be politically motivated, like the Charleston shooter or the guy who shot up a synagogue or whatever. Then we have accidental deaths, which are, children or young adults, teens getting a hold of guns and popping their little brother or sister or whatever. And
Wait,
you also have,
so do
what's
you
up?
just mean like gun violence as a whole, or just like mass shootings?
Well, I kind of generalized it into gun violence as a whole, you know,
Okay. Yeah,
because
yeah,
I think it's
it's
all
been on
kind
the
of,
rise as a whole as well. So
yeah, it all kind of comes together. So, but the last, the last cause of it, I think, is desperation. People like
Yeah.
petty crimes, theft, or something escalating into shootings or
Yeah. There's
anything like.
some.
Oh,
I think some people kind of just do it for like the fame. Like they'll see like how glorified the shooters are. Like they'll look at like Columbine or a recent one, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, if I go and do that, I'll people would start to notice me." And it's sort of like narcissistic. I guess I don't know if that's would be the correct term, but you could say narcissism could be it too.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's definitely a possibility. Uh,
egotistical. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. I think because people are so different, not all of them are going to be the same. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's why it brings up the sense of categories. I feel like maybe not all of the shooters fit in all of the boxes, but they come out of those boxes anyway.
yeah, and yeah, like I said, I just kind of generalized it into those 4 different categories. Every shooter's motivation is going to be different, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint where it comes from. But when you take a dive into their social media, their personal lives, then you kind of get a sense of where they were at before they started, considering killing people. But what do you guys think is like the talk around it? Some of the solutions that our leaders, our legislation is coming up with. Some of the legislation our leaders are coming up with, like some of the solutions. What do you guys think about those? Um, have you guys heard of anything?
Really, too much on either. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Usually, I don't know, usually when I see a school shooting, there have been a few times where for some reason I've seen the skin color get brought up.
Yeah, well, we see a lot of that. I mean, that's a,
Um, I'm trying to think of solutions. I don't know. I'm trying to think because I mostly just start seeing stuff like
Well,
more. I
I know
start
they want
seeing
to
people.
sit and like ban ARs, assault
yeah.
weapons.
Yeah. So, like, what do you guys think of that? Because we do see those, gun restrictions, banning assault rifle type things. Do you think that'll solve the problem?
No, because you think you can still get them illegally,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, or
right?
people switch to knives. I
Or yeah, you
mean,
can
Yeah.
switch to
that's what
knives. You could
happens. It happens in countries where guns are outlawed.
or
It's just hard to
bomb.
regulate violence, I guess.
Yeah.
It is.
And they could also switch to like bombs or I don't know if you guys remember in junior high when that kid he plugged the hot plate in, turned it upside down, thinking he could burn the school down or something.
Yep.
Oh yeah, in the boiler room.
Yeah,
But yeah.
we can talk about that later anyway.
I think he
There.
did it to impress a girl. By the way,
Yeah.
I only bring that up because I heard he was gay now. So
I
so
worked
I
you got to
with that.
burn some bridges.
so here's what I heard. So I know shortly before that he got like beat up like this like in the middle of a class. This kid threw him down, sat on top of him, and started choking him out. And I was told by somebody else that he did it that he told Homeland Security that he wanted to kill everybody in the school. So technically, the three of us are all murder victims, but we all really don't give a shit. Yeah, no, that's the story I heard was
one murder is a tragedy, many murders is a statistic.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, you ban assault rifles and then restrict like handguns and whatnot,
and it's gonna make the
people
whole
are gonna
like
get it illegally.
And you're just gonna piss off the they took our jobs or they took our guns side of it, and
you also have to
go ahead.
I was just gonna say you also got to bring up the right to bear arms.
Right.
Like it's there because we basically came over from England to colonize, and they were fighting another military power. It's just there to say that we should have similar arms, so much so that if we feel like something needs to be done, then we can do it.
Right.
I feel like that's why that's there, I guess.
There are more guns than there are people in this country. So I mean,
I believe it.
If you don't think that a potential shooter or a potential, murderer or a person at risk of suicide can't get a gun, then you're mistaken. Like there are really easy ways of purchasing weapons, especially in certain states.
Hey, somebody left this one in the lost and found.
Yeah. Some people have really bad practice with them. Some people have really bad discipline, with their weapons.
Oh yeah.
Even that's exactly why you see accidents and stuff with guns.
Mm-hmm. So I mean,
just like throwing their gun in the back seat of their truck, and they have their kid back there or their dog's back there, and and it's just sitting on the back seat and it goes off or something.
Or keeping it under your pillow when your toddler finding it. And,
Or you having a really, really good dream and you're sitting there with your body pillow. You accidentally grab that baby. And then the neighbors
shit off your Peter. No, I actually knew a kid. Just on the topic of mishandling guns, I actually got a story. I actually knew a kid while his parents were away. He was showing off this gun, and I guess he shot himself in the foot.
Damn.
Yeah, well, no, he lucked out because it went in between the bones. Like it went straight through his foot, went through the bone and stuff. And yeah, his dad was pretty PO'd.
Shit. I mean, two guys at my work. I've already heard stories of them, coming home from work and them trying to, disarm their pistol and put it away for the night, and they discharge a round into their bed or into their floor. Hell, one guy at my work just recently, as a matter of fact, within the last 3 weeks, he put a bullet through his leg because he was getting ready for one of the qualifying shoots, and he racked his gun back, but he had the trigger pulled, and put a round in the barrel, and as soon as he racked it back and let it go, fired off a round, and he was lucky enough that it just went through the meat and not his bone, because it would have shattered his bone. So, but he's up and walking and at work, like he toughed it out pretty well, and he already kind of had a limp because he's old. But,
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like Cheddar Bob in 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Hey, rabbit. Ugh.
So now, looking at the kind of opposite side of the spectrum, do you guys think adding more guns to the situations would be better off, Like, do you think that, placing fucking cops in schools and, giving teachers guns and shit or vets in schools, do you think
Uh,
that would,
I can see the
Yeah,
ups to that, and I can see the downs to it. Like they giving teachers guns, I can see how that would work if they went through the training and that there was like 100% guarantee they could handle the gun safely. Because I think they have like so in case the teacher doesn't like, oh look at this kids, look at this cool gun trick and accidentally shoots little Timmy in the head. But
mm,
yeah, no, I can see the ups to like I can see the perks of it, but I can also see the cons
yeah,
of how it wouldn't really work. Why some people wouldn't be jiggy with it.
well,
well,
I'll just imagine fully armed guards outside of the school. Like, most people don't typically go and shoot up places with armed guards, I guess. But at the
Yeah,
same time, it doesn't really seem like a school. And then it's like, oh, do you want to put bulletproof glass on the school? And then like a locking mechanism on the doors.
yeah,
Or,
right.
is he
and
going to try to get in? Do you need metal detectors? And it just goes,
well, I
there's
mean,
probably not enough money to do everything they want.
yeah, I get that. Like, I think that you have resource officers and stuff, but even that didn't stop the Uvalde shooter. He just kind of went up there, and the cop immediately retreated. As a matter of fact, the cops really reacted poorly in that whole situation. In that case, so I mean, I really don't think that that's the answer either. And both from like the Democrat perspective and the Republican perspective, I feel like because we only live within those two confines, because we know that there's not a whole lot more we can do or that anybody's going to do for us, especially our representatives, that's kind of what they came up with. But they're not really thinking about, they're just thinking about the situation itself. I don't think that they really consider what they can do to prevent these situations. And I know,
Right.
a lot of guys, on the right, and I can give it to them. They'll say, okay, well, this is mental health. This is obviously mental health. It's, this person wouldn't have done it if they didn't go through this, or they weren't diagnosed with this. Well, and I can kind of agree with that. You have people that are depressed more now than ever. People are going through stuff. People don't have
Mm-hmm.
the resources that they need. That they can't. It's too difficult to find help where they're at. You know.
Yeah,
So
Right.
or they
I think
try to get like mental help, and it's too expensive.
right.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I think that is an issue. The right just has a real issue of acting on it, of giving communities the resources that they need. Their thing is, well, shoot them, shoot them again, even if they're mentally or mentally handicapped or whatever. So that's not all they say. It's just kind of a generalization. But I don't hear anything other than, oh, it's a mental health problem. Nah,
Well,
or I don't hear what can we do to solve this. What resources can we defer?
Right.
so like it just depends, like because again, not all shooters are the same, right? And you do have some that seem to be like more impulsive, not really have a plan, but then you do have the shooters that come up with a plan. That's where implementing like metal detectors, guards, and that kind of stuff, those shooters
Yeah,
are going to look at that, like the ones that are not acting necessarily impulsive and they just want to take out as many people as they can. They're going to look at that and either choose a different location or come up with a plan to try to deter that. You know what I mean?
right.
It's like
Yeah,
no matter what you implement, people are going to still try in different ways because their goal is to commit like mass violence.
Yeah, their goal is to commit or to cause as many casualties as possible. And you know, in any solution, with any solution, these situations in America are still going to happen because you're never going to get rid of guns in America. You're never going to get rid of stupid people. Try as you might.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact that we have to live with. However, I mean, before I go, because I have a big long list, a big long rant to go on. Before I do all that bullshit, do you guys have any solutions that you could think of outside the box that, you know, might help with the situation? What you see as maybe common sense, or you see as any something that might help the issue, you know, get better, help the statistics go down.
I mean, you could try to put more restrictions on who gets like who can purchase a weapon, at least legally anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, you gotta pass a background check, but also have like a psychiatric test done, or I don't know, you know, it could be something like that. It could also be upgrading security in areas that have seen the most mass shootings. But again, that's money. It's money both ways. Um, it just might deter them from like the biggest population centers, I guess.
Right. Right. So, like, now when I say these solutions and stuff, I want you to think of, you know, it's you. It's the problem is in your hands. You're in the current situation. You are the quote unquote government. You're gonna be like, okay, what can I do right now to stop this stuff? You know, to stop these shootings, or to not really just to stop them, but reduce the amount of violence that's going on in this country.
If
Sam,
I
do you
were
have
the
it?
What's
if
up?
we were the government,
Yeah.
I mean, do I want people to like me or not?
I mean, it's completely up to you, honestly.
Like
Like,
how would I prevent like
Like,
shootings?
do I want the government to come in like, you know, like I just broke my dad's rules or whatever, and he's taking my toy away?
yeah, so
No.
you could do whatever you see fit, you know. Like, if that's what you think it's going to take, then,
Hey, if
you
this
know, you
is
can
The
take that
Sims, I
far.
mean, if it's The Sims, it would work, but realistically, something like that, there's, I don't think that'll ever work.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people fighting for their guns, and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough situation because people want their guns, and some people want no guns at all,
Right.
and it's like, what do you do? What do you not do?
Right.
So I guess I'll go ahead. So I kind of came up with some solutions that I would hope kind of balance out, like, you know, being able to have a weapon, being able to responsibly own a weapon, and, you know, like, being tactical or whatever, while also being safe and hopefully, you know, kind of reducing the gun violence in this country. So the first one I got here is, and I know, you know, I know you guys get kind of tired of my political fucking rants, but the world is politics. So here we go. But anyways, here's my solutions. Nevertheless, buckle up,
Okay.
guys. Um,
Okay, my buckles are up
so the
and
first
they're
one,
ready.
the first one I have here is universal health care. I know that's a big um topic of discussion. It's kind of controversial, but I think looking at it from my point of view, you give everybody access to the quality health that they deserve, and you make it easier for people with mental issues to go somewhere or to someone and receive instant help. You know, we hear all those scary stories about lines and stuff, and I'm sure there will be as soon as this is implemented, but over time it'll all smooth out in my mind, right? Because resources. But you also destroy like those large debts incurred through surgery, the death of loved ones, and other medical visits. You're not so depressed. People aren't so depressed from medical debt. They're just going, they're getting help they need. They're not hesitating. They're just like, hey, I need this, this, and this. What can you do for me? How long do I got to wait for it? Whatever.
Right.
I'd have to see like what percentage of shooters tried to get help. I wonder.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'd imagine there's a few, but like I've heard, like I've got a guy, one of my bosses, like the plumber I work for, his ex got both of his kids for some whatever reason. Like they don't sound like they need it, but they got them on like meds and. Anyways, so the point I'm saying is like just therapists aren't entire like from my experience, a lot of therapists aren't entirely looked highly upon because some people just kind of I'm just ranting. Go on.
No, I understand.
Like and so it's like they're not. It's like they're not giving out the meds and stuff to help. I've seen some people of like the belief that the reason they give people like these random ass like these people like all these random ass things that don't seem to help is because it's more of like a quota thing. Like it's like they don't care to help the patient. They just want to they just want to fill a quota. If that makes sense. Like I've heard.
Yeah, you get those quotas under privatized healthcare when you're trying to when you're so worried about making money off of your patients and stuff. You're gonna get those types of deals where they don't do their actual job. They do what makes a quick buck and then they move on. What you do after that is none of their business.
Right.
So with my proposed solution, and we could, I could go way deep into this. I don't really want to for this episode for the sake of kind of keeping it short and covering all the solutions that I kind of have or whatever I have. I think that I'll just say, we need to start putting more resources into these communities so that they at least have the option to go and be like, hey, I'm experiencing this. What can I do to mitigate it? What can I do to reduce it? And somebody can prescribe them something. Somebody can listen to them. Somebody can try to prevent whatever they're trying to do, and then go from there. Take the next steps. So I'm just kind of thinking that what I would do.
I mean, it might, but I don't know. When people want to kill, they want to kill. Like,
yeah.
Well, it stems from a problem. It stems from a problem in our lives, from my perspective. It stems from depression. It stems from something that's going on, something that triggers it. And like I said, I have a few more proposed solutions. So before we kind of go into that, like, hear me out for just a second more. But I respect where you guys are going with it. Like, I respect the criticism of it, because we don't know. We don't exactly know how much these things will help, if they'll help at all. But
Right.
I was gonna go on and say that it also eliminate the hassle of like insurance companies. It'll eliminate the stress that comes with those. You'll start seeing better drugs come off the lines. Better research, better reacting, longer lasting drugs that
Right.
probably help. Because again, you're not seeking a profit, you're seeking long term human goals, human health goals. And so, yeah, that kind of sums it up for universal health care. Another thing is like we have a lot of industry off of gun violence and war in this country. We have a lot of video games that, like, I'm not going to say ban video. I'm just going to say that we have to really control the amount of information and the amount of realism we take from certain forms of media in this country.
Yeah.
We need to hold companies accountable for what they put out there, what they teach our children. So, we all love like Call of Duty games and stuff and whatnot.
Well,
But
okay, so think about it like this, or at least our generation. When I started playing games, it wasn't all that realistic, Like,
right.
Right.
I mean, it's gotten to the point now, especially if kids are playing in VR and stuff, and kids are starting to play video games younger and younger with more realistic quality. There's actually a game coming out, and it's like a body cam footage game, and it looks.
Oh yeah, and it's like so
looks
realistic.
Yeah, it's like it's one of the most realistic looking games, probably, and I don't know, and that's what you're doing is you're running around with a gun in there. So I could see it influencing younger kids, especially.
Yeah. So, like, maybe we should.
And it also falls onto the parents as well.
Right.
Naughty,
And maybe
naughty.
we should be a little more responsible with those games. Like, the amount of maturity in our kids would have them wait to play certain, gory games. I don't know this one, but this is again just kind of me because their companies profit off of this. They profit off of violence like this, and I think that in some way, I don't know too many ways, but I think in some way they should pay the piper for that. They should pay the piper for some of the violence that they can partially be responsible for. And I see it, see it in the military too. People go into war thinking that it's going to be like Call of Duty, and then they end up
It's
getting
not.
that shit rocked, because
Oh no.
they think that they have a health.
Boys, I'm not respawning. Oh, I'm switching teams. Oh god. You can't do that in real. Yeah, I'm quitting. Oh no.
Don't worry, Sarge.
My boy permanently logged off.
Don't worry, Sarge. My vision's only partially bloody. I still got a lot left.
Yeah. Somebody switch the settings. Put it on colorblind. Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I see that as maybe one form of helping reduce gun violence.
Right.
The next one is there's a lot, like, we have to do something about like ideologies of hate, spreading. Like, they spread like wildfire through this country, and that's because people are financially or mentally struggling, and they're looking for a culprit. You know, they're looking for the blame, and these groups have the blame in Jews or black people or insert group here for
The wheat farmers.
yeah. And so I think and there are shootings specifically motivated by that. You have Charleston, like I said earlier, you have the Charleston shooting, Charleston massacre. You have synagogue shooters, church shooters, fire bombings of churches in, the 60s. So you have a lot of fascist ideology or ideology of hate that kind of, swims the veins of this country. And it, it really needs to be mitigated. Like it really needs to be halted, or else you get Nazis marching down the street, or
Listen, guys, we're a country of colors. It's not just one group that's the problem. It's all of us. So it's all of our problem. All right.
Right.
That's
exactly.
one thing for sure. It's it's not no Catholic church. It's not the Muslims. It's not the blacks. It's not the Mexicans. It's nobody. And I see you because those
It's the lizard people.
People going into synagogues and churches, and or like the kid, I can't remember where it was, but he went into like a supermarket and he was going for black people and he accidentally shot like a white lady or something. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Oh, that's really?
Yeah.
Like,
I think like Buffalo or something. But
I think so.
You have a lot of targeted shootings at groups of people. So, I mean, I would crack down on a lot of ideologies of hate. Like, I would go hard, I would freaking hunt down KKK groups and do unnecessarily terrible things to them for spreading hate. And that's how I'd get rid of that. Because, in a country of free speech where people who hate free speech are allowed to speak, I just think that defeats the purpose of having free speech, because you're allowing hate to spill over and take over. And eventually, if enough of them get their shit out there, then there's gonna not be free speech for quite a few people.
Yeah, there's desperate people that, they're just looking for somebody to come in and be like, well, the reason you're having this and this and this issue is because group A,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's
so now here's another proposed solution that's quite controversial, quite expensive, but I believe is absolutely worth it in the grand scheme of things. And I think that people need, everybody in this country, all right, needs basic necessities. I think that you need to give people access to reliable transportation, housing, food, and water,
and bullets.
I mean,
I forgot America's not part of Texas. No.
But I think that society as a whole would be a lot happier. I know you get the whole argument. No, people will just be lazy. People will just be lazy. You hear it all the time.
Where do you see most of the mass shooters? It's not, let's get sexual orientation, color out of there. Most of them aren't necessarily doing the best financially.
Right.
In most cases. So, I mean, very rarely you're going to find somebody with millions of dollars go and do something like this.
Right. And I mean, we're we have to live around these people, all right? Whether we like it or not, people with hardships are going to be around us. People with disabilities, addictions, whatever, they're going to be around us the most. So we should do whatever we need to do as a community to help reduce these issues. We need to stop kicking people to the curb and just throwing a fucking paper box and saying, live in that. Or stop acting like these people have the option to just get up and go get a job, because even a job these days, a simple job, is a complex thing to hold, and it doesn't always pay for everything.
Right.
So I think
especially in the cities where, you know, people are living in like boxes. I mean, down here, it's not, you know, it's not as bad as somewhere like Oregon or California.
well, those have higher population centers, population densities, and it's like,
and money goes less far there, is what I guess what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, what we need to do is give people the basic necessities, eliminate that stress, just blow that stress right out of the water, and help give people something to live for. Like, at first, you're going to see a lot of the effects of burnout. You are going to see people, just kind of taking advantage of it, just kind of chilling, doing their own thing. But eventually, it's human nature. People get curious. People step out. They want to explore the world. And I think that they want to challenge themselves. So if you present those challenges to people, like if you present the challenges to people that they want to take on, not exactly making the person go to work for 45 hours a week only to scrape by, only to get by on scraps and maybe have 2 weeks out of the year on vacation. I'm talking about,
How about you work 50 hours? I'll give you a little more than scraps. I'll give you the ice cubes out of my drink.
I'm talking about like, people going to school for what they want to do, going to school to do what they want to do, praying for that, educate themselves on that, or to solve a problem, and then have work just be, something that you do to help society out. You do your due diligence, you contribute to society, and then you go and you take a trip to the mountains. You go and study something. You go and solve fucking world hunger. I don't know, a scientific
mysteries with Scooby-Doo.
Mysteries. Yeah. You just have more free time, and that eliminates petty theft. That eliminates, mental stress. That eliminates homelessness. You're not dealing with homeless people going and shitting on your lawn or whatever. That also gets rid of like paranoia. That gets rid of people buying weapons or at least it reduces people buying weapons to defend themselves from other people or thieves or whatever. And you also get the side effect of like just having a better family. Like now you don't want to go and kill your 4 kids and your wife because they're annoying the shit out of you. You just want to spend time with them. Like you want to be a human being. You don't want to kill them and then kill yourself. You want to do something with that time. You want to be a better person. And I think that that's really, really important. And it's a huge step, but I think that it's something that's necessary and that's going to solve a lot of issues in this country. But I'll move on. So the last one I have here is discipline, education, and safety. A lot of accidents are caused by simple lack of knowledge, or complacency, or laziness.
Yeah.
So if you want to be effective with weapon, you train with it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that you should equally, train in safety measures. You should make it so
Wait,
it's
Jade, isn't that the same technique you use?
What?
You train with your weapon to get more effective?
I mean, it hasn't scored me anything yet, but yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding. No. What I was gonna say. Anyway, what I was gonna say is, yeah, you could. I mean, I definitely think it would improve. I think the best we could hope for is to lower the percentages by a lot.
Yeah.
At least for now, is to get the number down, because it is getting ridiculous. Like, how many did you say this year? 147. That's
147. And
yeah.
That includes today's.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
Yeah, and I think that we should really, if we're gonna have weapons, we should really focus on them for what they are. Forget what these 2A guys tell you. They're like, well, our weapons were originally to uphold the Constitution and blah blah blah. No, your weapon is there to kill someone. All right, your weapon is there to kill the guy that breaks into your house, the ATF agent. I don't condone that, by the way. Don't do that. It's there to kill. It can potentially kill a loved one, or it can potentially kill you in the wrong hands. So that's what they're there to do. That's
or if
their
you're dancing on TikTok with it, you can also kill yourself that way.
But
remember, just take screenshots, kids.
Well, regardless, you should always treat it uncomfortably. You could be comfortable with it practicing, but always treat it like it wants to kill, because it does. That's why they're made.
It's your inner instinct. Fuck. No.
So lock them up.
Well, same thing, with like a knife. When you're in the kitchen, like cooking or something, you're cutting something up. What are you gonna do with it? Like, oh, dude, I love this song. You stop cooking, or you stop cutting the food up, and you start dancing with the knife. Like, like, oh, I forgot I had a knife in my hand. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, people should. I agree. That's another thing. Maybe you should be required to get like a certificate from the state that you took gun safety as well.
Yeah. You could do something like that in high schools, just to carry throughout. You don't even need to carry. It's said that you completed it on your record.
Yeah,
and those
some
with
schools do. I believe when Taylor was in Colorado, he had to take he took a gun safety class in school for it.
Yep. So, and always teach safety. Like, always teach what they can do to your kids when they're old enough, and go from there. So I really do think it's a good idea to have classes about it, or go to classes, hunting safety classes, gun safety classes, whatever they might be. So lock the fucking thing up. Make sure that when you lock it up, like, you think about it when you're unlocking it. You're thinking about what it's going to be used for that day. You take into careful consideration, like, make it a complicated process to get that thing out and, mess with it. So,
and your kids should also know as well, if you have kids, like, I don't know if you heard about I think the kid was 5. He was in kindergarten, and he got his mom's pistol or something and took it to school, shot his teacher
Yeah,
because
I heard about
he
that.
was angry. Like, kids are already dealing with emotions, and like they throw tantrums and stuff. If they don't understand the repercussions of what a gun can do, then they should not be anywhere near them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't know. I'm pretty sure she tried to explain away that she had it in a gun safe or something. It's like, okay, he cracked the safe, really?
yeah,
I don't know
Like,
about that.
yes, that makes total fucking sense.
And it also fell on the school as well because apparently they had one guy check his backpack and he said he didn't see it even though it was in there. And then
yeah,
like 2 other people knew that the kid had a gun. Like, they were told by people, and they're just like, "Oh, whatever."
yeah. And that's again laziness. You know, treat it, don't treat the situation lightly. So, I mean, yeah, that's basically it. Just show some discipline and confidence when wielding it. As for my other solutions, like if you're a viewer and you know me, you know where I stand politically, I'm gonna tell you this. Like, it's real simple. You know, no matter how expensive it is, no matter what it's gonna cost, what it's gonna take, I want you to just think about the children. Think about their safety. Because right now, they're the ones paying for this. This is their future. This is what they have to live with. And now we have to send them to schools with bulletproof backpacks, you know? So when you're thinking about, oh, this guy's just spouting off socialist bullshit. He's just doing another political something. Like, these are actual solutions that can help people, you know? Your legislators aren't coming up with shit. You guys aren't coming up with shit. You're just fighting Democrats or Republicans. You need to take these things seriously. You need to understand that life is just more than than objects, than materials. You have to think outside you have to think about the bigger picture, think outside the box and really consider this. Really consider, uh, am I going to allow my child to live in barbarism, or am I going to fight for my child's future? Am I going to show my child that you can have a gun as long as you're responsible with it, and that gun can be used for, you know, for good in some cases or luxury in some cases? So think about that, before you start bringing politics and all that other bullshit into it. So if you have, and I'm completely open to other ideas, whatever helps me when I'm able to send my son to school one day, whatever helps me not have to make or not have to buy a bulletproof backpack or worry about a phone call while I'm at work trying to make a living. So I don't want to have to go home, unlock my safe and grab my gun and go down to the elementary school because I'm worried about my son getting killed by some crazy person and the cops just standing there.
Exactly.
So
I agree. It's might not necessarily be like a side thing. It's just we need to decide what we're doing,
yep.
because these numbers are bad for all of us. Um, yeah, the kids are the future, and unfortunately, you are right. It's the most dangerous time for kids and young teens and teens. Uh, I believe the like cause of death for teens and kids is guns, accidents, shootings. Just kills tens of thousands of them per year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, I mean, that's all. That's all I have for you tonight. So,
End it with a banger. Go get a mag.